Hey y'all, Shauna.
Hey, I'm Chuck.
So this is our third week, and we're gonna finish ours. Well, we might not finish, but
We're just gonna, basically continue the conversation about, how it was when you met Tyler for the first time.
Tyler and triggers. Today we're gonna talk about triggers.
Yeah, Tyler was a trigger.
So again, I was waiting. I actually messed up last week, and I said I met him before we went out. I met Tyler the second week that we went out.
I want to scoot over a little bit. You mind?
Oh, go ahead.
All right. Get a little closer to
I
you.
can feel claustrophobic.
Hey, baby.
So get off me. Give you your own space.
Well, you always own me, every day. So why can't we do it on camera?
Chuck,
What?
let me have.
No, I can't. I think it'd be better if we showed our unity.
Oh my God. So anyway, our first date.
Yeah.
Our first date, he put a ring in their way.
I
Said he's
did.
gonna marry me.
And you know what? I did, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
This was so honorable. Okay. So because he had such this addiction, gambling addiction,
Yeah.
we was laying in the bed maybe like the first week or something. He was just saying like,
Spent a lot of time in the bed.
Chucky, stop. So he was saying like how he had this, how much his gambling, how much he wanted to stop. Okay, so the place that he was living at, the guy who owned it was his real close friend at the time, and he said that he needed him to move to another space. But the space that he was moving to was, Chucky, I'm really like, I feel like, yeah, was the poker house, the actual poker house that he's trying to stay away from. So I'm like, why don't you just come here? It was just so natural. Now, mind you, I hadn't had anyone here with me and my son. He was 5. Nobody lived with me. But it was his character, his heart, and the way that we connected. I just felt like it was like a jump. That was so weird for me. Because first of all, I don't move like that. I move planned and strategic, and this was totally outside of me, okay? But I asked him, like, you want to come here? And he said yes.
I did.
So, with
But it
him,
wasn't easy to say yes.
it was. You said that right away.
I was uncomfortable.
I sure can tell.
I was.
You did
because-
not. He didn't hesitate.
No, because.
He said yes. When I said that, you said yes. It was
No.
not. You said okay.
I think I said okay, but in my mind I was uncomfortable because I didn't know you. And
What?
I never really lived with nobody like that. Didn't live with a woman. So, I said if I'm going to live with you,
He gonna marry me.
then I'm going to marry you. So that's the decision that I made.
So I'm like,
Without going on a date, without doing any of
Now
that.
this before I knew that he was bipolar.
No, I
Yes,
told
it
you.
is.
I told you I was bipolar before I gave you the ring.
Yeah, but you told me that when I asked you. You told me right after.
Are you talking about moving in?
Yeah,
I told you after that.
yeah.
I did.
So I didn't know.
I told you that before I moved in.
Right, but you told me that after I asked you to move in. After I
Right.
said you come here.
Right.
I said the same thing. You just said it.
Okay. You make things so complicated.
So I'm like, so anyway, he said yes, and he said he's gonna marry me. So I'm like, how honorable is this of a man to do that? So now I'm really like on a different high. Like I knew it. I knew he was a good guy. I knew that everything that I felt was true because that was just so like, So we go on our first date. We go to the movies. And he told me before, he said, we're going to pick out your ring. I'm going to put it on layaway. So I'm like, on a different kind of high. Like, we in the car. I'm like, really? So we go to the jewelry store. We looking at all the rings. He's like, what you like? You like anything? So, of course, what did I pick out?
$11,000 ring.
I didn't know. I didn't know it cost that much.
Yeah, and I told you, baby, can you get a plan B? Like, what else do you like?
Yes.
So I had to,
Yeah. So anyway, we looked. So he actually picked out my ring. It was beautiful. I was just like on such a high, right? So now it's time for us to go to the show. So before this, him and his ex-wife were having a little argument
Beef.
about
Always got beef.
having arguments about their son, about him coming over and staying.
Well, let me say this before you finish. That's why God don't like divorce, because there's so many problems that come up after divorce. And me being a man who deals with emotional instability and triggers like that can throw my whole emotional system off. Way
So
off.
triggers, that's when I first learned about triggers and how big Tyler was a trigger for Chuck. So
And what the trigger was about me not seeing my son, being able to see him as I would like to. It really bothered me. It
Okay.
really
So
bothered
that
me.
was the first time that I learned about that. So actually saw it with my own eyes. Now he had told me stories and stories. So many, we could stay up all night and talk when we first got together about all the things about his life, about my life. I'm telling him my story, and I'm still, you don't ever understand it until you're actually experience it 101. So we in the show. So they texting obviously. I can tell him being a little bothered before we go to the show, like a little irritated. So he was supposed to see him. This was a Thursday that we went on our date. I met Tyler that Saturday. So this is a couple days. So she told him that he can come. He can't spend the night. So
And that's what pissed me off.
that's what pissed him off. So we sit in the show. About 30 minutes in, what movie was that, baby?
Three Kingsmen.
Okay, yeah. So about 30 minutes in, he said, "I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go."
Abruptly.
So I'm like,
I was pissed. Because how you gonna just tell me my son can't spend the night with me? I was mad, man.
So I'm like, okay, I'm
pissed.
still calm and just like, okay, I'm being, just observing. I'm observing. I'm a very good observer. So
She didn't understand
No.
the depthness of it. You know why? Because there's a lot of men who don't fight to be in their child's life.
it's not that.
What was it?
It's not that.
What was it then?
It's just how it affected your whole mood. Now, bipolar is a mood disorder.
That's true.
Okay, so let's get back to it. So, with that being said, that affected everything for the night. I was confused. Now, mind you, I had been waiting on this date. So, for it to be,
For a couple weeks, right?
a couple weeks.
Because I was broke.
I
Had
was-
a timing difference.
I was waiting on this date, so I'm like, okay, I'm still being kind. So we go outside. I'm like, baby, let's look at the flowers, because we was looking at the flowers. I'm like, it's pretty, we just took a walk to calm him down, okay? So he was like, all right, I ain't gonna worry about it. He calmed down a little bit, and we went to grab something to eat. So by this time, now we're laughing, we're joking, but to see that his mood changed like that drastically, it did not scare me, but it had me like, okay, all right. I see that his son is very, 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 very important to him. Now, I knew that from the things that he told me and him talking to him and the bond that I heard them have, but this was serious, okay? So that was my first encounter with that on our first date. So after that, we enjoyed the rest of the evening, and he calmed down a little bit. And then I met Tyler Saturday.
She met Tyler. Tyler came over, and I was very excited to see him. And it's always a good time seeing Tyler, especially after fighting with his mom. Tyler has been the motivation for me to become stable. I've had many conversations with him throughout these years, and he will always encourage me, no matter what. Even when I was inconsistent with seeing him or not being there at some of his games or whatever it is, I always talk to him, and he will always be so open. He never penalized me, and I think one of the biggest things was the fact that Tyler didn't treat me like a lot of other people did, in terms of judging me for who I was and what I was doing. And I get it. He was young and he was unaware, but I developed such a strong bond with him, so much chemistry with him, and I was able to be his father even in that condition that I was in. So I was grateful. So, introducing him to Shauna at that particular point in my life was very important, and I think that seeing how they had chemistry, I was like, wow, I was amazed because Tyler never really had that type of encounter, that type of conversation with any other female that I introduced him to. He wasn't really that comfortable. So seeing how he was with her, I was really shocked. I kind of was. I was amazed at how he was joking around and comfortable, and they just instantly just hit it off. So that was great, and it was very important for me because in a prior relationship, I felt that the young lady didn't value Tyler like I valued him, or that she was jealous of him. I felt that she was jealous of our relationship, the way I treated him, the way I raised him, the way I talked to him, the way I gave him gifts. And her children didn't have that type of experience. So I think it was a little jealousy, and that was one of the reasons why I left her.
What? Anyway,
Yeah.
so our bond was created, and the same way with my son. Him and Dylan had a natural. Has been always so protective. Man, he was 5 when we got together. Now he's 8, so he's always been extra protective. It's just been me and him, and he welcomed him with loving arms, and it was just beautiful. Like, of course, he had a little jealousy because why are you with my mama?
A little? Nah, a lot. Man, please, he come in the room every 2 minutes and whining because he couldn't have his mama. Yeah, it's such a blessing. Let me take a moment to say this. It's such a blessing that I came into this house.
Oh my God.
Because I came to set the things straight. I came to level things
You
off.
really did. I mean,
really
no lie. No lie. Like, I give you all the credit for that because I'm a mama, and I wasn't that whatever. It's just that's my baby. He's a boy, so he definitely needed him, and we grateful. I'm grateful for that. I am so grateful for that. And
I know you are. I know you are.
And
I'm grateful for you too.
that's not nothing that I could ever, take away or whatever.
And that's why it's so important for families to have the male and female balance, to do it together, because the children need balance. They need to see a strong man, and they need to see a nurturing woman. That's the balance. And when you just have a strong, nurturing woman, I think it sends a lot of confusion to the child. So I think it's very important, and I read this in a book, that if a child has a weak father or an absent father, it would cause psychological damage. So it was very pivotal. Did I say it right? Pivotal to have a strong, masculine alpha male come into this house to set it straight.
Anyway, so that Monday, that was Saturday, me and Tyler met. That Monday, he told me that Sunday, it was my girl birthday. I'll never forget. Him and Dylan, Chucky was still getting all his books gathered. Him and Dylan was doing that.
Wait, hold on. That was important because, see, Shauna had to go somewhere. And while I was in Shauna's house, I had some things at another person's house that I needed to get. And there was a lot of books and a lot of clothes and stuff. So Shauna was like, well, I got closets for you. She had just enough space.
I did.
So, but when she left, I was actually starting to have some symptoms. I didn't understand what was wrong with me.
Right.
But I started feeling different. My energy was different. And I started seeing how it just felt like I was slowing down or something. So when she told me to go get my books, I went to get my books, but it took me a long time to just get these books and put them in my car. I was really slowing down. And then I remember, Shauna was telling me, you need to go to your mother's house. You need to go see her, because at the time I wasn't talking to my mother. We was beefing. So Shauna was like, you need to go see your mom. So when I went to see my mom, lo and behold, when I get there, we had a conversation. We
This the
connected.
next day.
This the next day.
This Monday.
This Monday. This happened. Okay. Well.
Because Sunday you got the books and you and Dylan did that. Y'all helped each other.
So Sunday was the books.
Yes.
And then Monday was my mom. So
Yeah.
okay. Before we get to my mom, the books part, I was feeling, and I was finna connect my mom and the books, but I'll wait till you get to Monday. But Sunday, I'm starting to kind of lose it a little bit, and my energy is thrown off. My sleep pattern was changing. I wasn't taking my medication properly.
Now,
so
I didn't know this. I didn't know, but I did know that something seemed like it was wrong compared to us being together. Now, it's only been a couple weeks, but I knew that something was wrong. I could tell that he wasn't his normal self, and he was tired. He was really, really tired. So I was like, okay, you okay? You know, you need anything? You know, whatever. But he was just like, I'm just tired. I'm just going to rest. So the next day, it's Monday.
Okay. Well, before we get to Monday, me and Dylan was in the house with these books, as I was saying before she cut me off like she always do. So I was with the books, and Dylan was in there, and he was like, I'll help you. And I looked at him like, wow. It just kind of touched me because he was so enthusiastic
To help
me with some books and to put the stuff back. I was losing energy. I ain't had no dang on energy. And Dylan helped me. He was picking up. I mean, he was really grabbing everything and using his strength. That was our moment to connect. Then I remember the other moment was when Shauna was in the kitchen and she said she was going to be my covering. And then I fell on the floor and I felt like I was losing my memory. I don't know what was going on. Maybe I think it's because I was taking my medication wrong. I was taking
that's what was going on.
I was taking the medication the wrong way. But before we get to what's that Monday, we got to remember the fact that when I dropped Tyler off, I got into an altercation with his stepfather, and that made matters worse. And I think that was triggering my emotions. That's what made me unstable a little bit because I was angry, and it kind of tipped me into that zone.
So different triggers, they last. They don't just once he's triggered, it just don't go away. You know how we might get mad.
But everybody can't trigger me like that.
No, but I'm explaining. What, like, you get mad, the next day you wake up, it's still on his mind. Right. So that's what I realized. Like, that was yesterday. Because I don't hold on to things. Right. So I'm like, that was yesterday. Like, he still tripping. He still was triggered about it. I'm like, okay. All right.
I was triggered and I was angry and it was throwing off my sleep pattern.
Exactly.
And I was taking my medication
wrong.
Improperly.
Right.
But then, shoot, check this out. I remember when that happened, after that whole altercation happened, and then Tyler called me upset. That made it worse because he, you know,
that night you didn't sleep.
I didn't sleep.
So he didn't take his medicine right. He wasn't sleeping. Those two things, like, they might sound like simple,
but it's important.
Sleep.
It's important.
Anytime Chucky has been out, even when you hear further on in our story, sleep is the most important. That affects everything. Like, all of us need sleep, but he definitely needs it. With taking this medicine, you have to, everything has to be a balance because it's not going to work right and you're going to be off. So that Sunday, I could start seeing, actually Saturday I knew he didn't sleep. Sunday I was watching him. Like I said, I'm a very good observer. So I was like, wow, this is something, like something, you know. And he told me about all the times he was in and out the hospital. He explained it, but I still not having a full understanding about what was needed. But that Monday morning, he woke up. Actually, in the middle of the night, I heard him talking to his mom. So I was happy because they wasn't talking at the time. And so I was like, good. And so she was like, come over later or whatever. He said he gonna come over. Remember? He said you're gonna come over later.
You remember this though? We missed something.
No, that was it, Chuck.
No, when I got sick.
Yeah.
Remember that? What part? What was that? Remember when I was in your bed and I woke up?
He was at your house still. Remember the first week?
That's crazy. We missed that story. I don't know how we're gonna tie that in, but anyway, with the sleep part, again, it was a situation. I could digress here for a second before I go on to my mom. We talk about how important the sleep was. There was a time when I first met Shauna, before I moved in, I got real sick and I woke up out of my sleep and I was throwing up and I felt suicidal. I felt weird. So I didn't know what
But
was
he's
going
not
on.
telling me that he feeling these ways.
But I was.
Suicidal, but all he said he felt sick.
I
Maybe
said I
he ate
felt
something
sick.
wrong. But I had no idea what was wrong. I don't think I knew you had bipolar then.
I don't.
No,
No,
I didn't know
I
that.
think you had just.
No, I didn't
I
know.
had my medicine in the closet.
No,
so
not yet. Not
I
till you moved
did
in.
because I was taking. Yes, I did. I was taking. I couldn't sleep.
But
I
you
couldn't-
wasn't here yet.
But I was spending the night.
But you didn't have your medicine here.
I did. I had it in that brown bag in the closet,
Okay.
and I was taking it. I was waking up, and I was taking it. And then one time when I went to sleep here, I woke up, and when I woke up, I was sick and I was suicidal, throwing up. And then I went to my house, and I thought something was wrong with her house. I was like, man, I said, is it a spirit? Is it a spirit or something over there? Because I never been that sick ever. I ain't
He was
never.
taking his medicine all wrong.
So then I
and
go
he wasn't
home,
sleeping.
and I slept for like a whole day.
Mhm.
And she was texting me and calling me, but I wouldn't answer because I was asleep, knocked out.
So I had brought him some soup and stuff, but
She
none of
back in
that
soup.
was gonna work because he needed to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So now we can fast forward to Monday.
So in fact, that's just showing you how sleep. Sometimes you could get waking up out your sleep. Because I've been waking up out my sleep a lot over the past 15 years, dealing with all type of stuff. Now, some of this stuff, I know the doctors say is chemicals and all that, but it's some spiritual stuff too that go with this. And but we'll talk about that at another time. I don't even know if she want to talk about that,
So Monday.
but we'll keep it going.
Monday he goes, he calls his mother in the middle of the night, they talk. I'm happy because you need to talk to your mother. Yeah.
I ain't want to talk to her.
Yeah. So I was happy.
ain't
So
wanna
he
talk
went to go visit her. And I guess
And that's another thing. My mama was a trigger too. She triggered me. Every time she had something to say I ain't like, she triggered. She made me angry.
she was at that point.
She angry.
Really-
She
at
had-
that
yeah.
point.
Everybody be have. Listen, I know a lot of people who have problems with their parents. I do. I know a lot of people who have problems with their mother, and everybody got their own reasons. And I had mine. And when Shauna was like, "You need to go see your mom," I didn't want to talk to my mom. You know, I didn't want to. It was just a place in my life where I just didn't want to, and I was comfortable with that. It was just my feelings. That's the way I felt. But Shauna not understanding the relationship and the pieces to the puzzle.
I heard what he told me, but I feel like you need to talk to your mother, and I will always advocate that because.
But we
that's-
talking
that's
now,
reality.
so it worked. I guess.
Right, it worked.
It got,
It worked.
so thank you,
So-
Shauna.
There you go.
Thank you, Shauna.
Anyway,
Monday.
so Monday he goes over there, and your mother tells you that you need to go to the hospital. Now,
Not only that, this the crazy part. I told you I was losing it, right? I'm losing my memory.
but he not telling me none of this.
Man,
I didn't know about none of this. I'm like clueless. I'm just like not knowing. I'm not in the know.
You
I don't-
knew you knew I was bipolar by that point.
Yeah, but I didn't know what to look for, and I didn't know
Of
you was
course.
losing it.
I
That's
mean,
my point.
But see, the thing was, I was trying to keep it together. So check it out. I'm losing it. Remember, I was with Dylan and with the books, and he helping me, and I'm losing my energy. So I get to my mom's house. She give me a letter from the VA, from the government, and they saying that we noticed that you have worsened. Your condition has worsened, and you have memory loss. And when they said that, I was actually losing my memory at the time. So I'm reading this letter. I just started shutting down. I started feeling fear. I was concerned. I was confused. 'Cause I was like, how would they know this about me? So I get in the car. My mom was like, Chuck, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't know. I don't really know. So anyway, I made it to the hospital, but I couldn't remember how to get there. Then I slowly was losing my memory. And when and so look, I just met Shauna though. We just met each other
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and all this is happening to me. So we get the ring, and we together. She learned I'm bipolar. She learned I got a gambling disorder. Gambling, she didn't know it was a disorder at the time, but she just thought I had a gambling addiction. So, and then I have a nervous breakdown, and I end up in the hospital. She saw me dealing with Tyler, with his stepfather, getting angry about that. Then she saw me get sick, go home, and be shut down for 24 hours and not talking to nobody and sleeping all day, concerned and worried. And within 2 weeks, we went through a lot of change. I'm talking about a lot of changes.
So,
A lot of change.
he calls me and say, baby, I really don't feel well. I'm talking real calm. I don't really feel well. But I want to give you my mother number. You need to talk to my mother. So I'm like, I'm trying to tell him to talk to his mama. He want me to talk to her now.
And she never met her at that
I never met her.
Right.
So I was like, okay. He was like, you need to talk to her. She's going to help you understand some things. So he was like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I'm going to the hospital. So I was like, okay, I guess. Like, I'm just like, anything you need, like, just trying to be that supportive person. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, all right. So he goes to the hospital. He gets his phone taken. He goes to the psych ward. Get his phone taken away. He calls him from the hospital. He gave me the hospital number. He gave me his mother number.
Well, see, this is the thing. When you go to the psych ward, you can't take anything with you. You can't take your cell phone. They only allow you to take certain things like maybe a book, a Bible. They don't even let you push a shoestring. You can't even take shoestring. No sharp objects. So I'm sitting in this parking lot, and I'm thinking like, okay, Shauna, she needs to talk to my mom. So I had to get my numbers out my phone real quick and give them, call her and give it to her. And I put down everybody's number who I wanted to talk to because they got pay phones in there that you could call people on. So I was like, okay, I need all the important numbers. Now, mind you, I'm losing it. I'm losing my memory. So I get into the hospital, the elevator in the hospital parking lot, and I couldn't remember where I parked my car. I was really losing it. And so by the grace of God, I get up to the unit, and from there it was like really, really interesting. But Shauna was, I know she was confused.
I was very confused. I was like, okay, you need me to come? He was like, no, not right now. I don't know how long I'm going to stay. I don't know. I just don't feel well. I just don't know what to think. And now you like, who do you talk to about this?
Right.
Nobody in my corner at that time knew anything about this. They knew I was happy and I was in love, but I didn't have nobody to talk to. I didn't have nobody that would understand this, and I was just trying to understand it myself. So him giving me his mother number was the best thing he could have ever done in our period, because she helped me so much.
And the reason is because my mother is a psychiatric nurse, and she's been a psychiatric nurse for 20 plus years, and she has a master's degree in nursing, and she understands mental illness to a degree that a lot of people don't. So she was able to give Shauna information.
Sound advice. Calm sound advice. No fear. Knowing him, the illness, them together, she was so important. And that was everything to me. Like, next week we'll talk about that. Him actually being in the hospital, and the conversation me and his mother had during those 2 weeks that he was in the hospital.
And if you want to get more information about maybe some of the story, and I know you guys listening, but if you want to read it in a book form, I do have a book, Light Switch, Bipolar Preacher. You go to bipolarpreacher.com, and we really appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. Tell a friend. I'm also on the radio, WVON 1690.
Tuesdays.
Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. And I will be on there with iHeartRadio. You can just go to iHeartRadio and download it, and you can go ahead and listen to us as we talk about mental health. And we're trying to talk about all the topics that's important.
With Toya and Katie.
So we thank you. We thank you for your support. And next week, we're going to continue this story.
Bye.
See y'all.